Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Neil and Stephannie out here on the Widener Range. It is a brisk yet beautiful December afternoon.
Almost January.
It's almost January.
We gotta shoot today.
Usually there's like knee-deep snow down here. I think you've probably seen some videos of me down here in the snow, but man, I'm out here in my hoodie and we've got something cool that we're gonna show you today. Let's shoot the VP9A1s for the first time.
Palm pepper spray is next generation OC spray. It's hot at 1.4% major capsaicinoids, and its modular design means you can customize it exactly to you. 3 different setups, lots of different color combinations. You can make it exactly as you like. And the flip top safety prevents accidental discharges. It's 10 to 12 foot range and 25 half-second blasts. Make sure that you can keep that long range eye poke at long range. I trust Palm OC and I recommend it for everyone for self-defense.
So Stephannie, there are 2 new VP9s. I did an unboxing video that is up on the app. It's probably already on YouTube as well. But this is the A1. The basic differences between this and the original VP9 that I've been carrying for years, that you've been carrying for years, that we love, is that they've got a little bit upgraded trigger, some nickel-plated, Teflon-coated, fancy engineering words that make the thing shoot nice, right? There's a little bit of a flared mag well for a little bit easier reload. It's optic ready, and on these we've got the SCS Holosun that they made for HK. Comes in green. It's got the dot, the circle dot, and the circle only options, which is kind of cool. I'm an SRO guy, so this is one thing that I'm curious how this is going to work for me, but I may end up putting an SRO on one. But the biggest thing, I think, is the length of pull options. And now if you can see here, this one, the back strap literally comes all the way up to here, where the old one stopped down a little bit lower. So I could kind of change my grip angle, but I couldn't change my length of pull, really. And that's a new piece here. Now there's 5 options here. There's a small, medium, large, then there's an extra small and an extra large that you can get. Then there's side panels in small, medium, and large for both sides. I've already kind of fitted yours to you a little bit. We did a fitting. Well, this has all been dry work. And I've kind of fitted mine to me a little bit, and I really like it. So the way I fitted mine is I put the large back strap on the back that pulls my hand back away from the trigger just a little bit. And then I put a medium over here on the right side and a small, a large over here on the right side and a medium on the left side. So it just fills in really, really well and it feels great. Now I haven't shot it yet, so that may change. But the cool thing is I've got 54 different combinations that I can test.
Right.
So Steph, what did we do with yours?
Well, and the difference with this one here, that is more like what the full-size VP9 would compare to. Correct. And that is the F, the A1, and they call it the VP9F model. This is the K for compact. Yeah. And I am so excited about this. I was really excited about this EC9. If you've ever shot with me at any point, you've probably heard me complain about, I have really small hands and worse, shorter fingers. So the inability to adjust length of pull really affected my shooting because I would have to move my grip from straight behind the gun to next to the gun. And that really limited my ability to shoot well, in my opinion. I could shoot really, really adequately. I could keep up and I could be fine. But to excel and to be the type of shooter I wanted to be, I was really limited by that. So I was very excited about the CC9 coming out. I love that. That's a smaller gun. I can really feel like I have that. So I feel like that has a lot of carry options. But when I saw this one, my eyes just lit up.
I haven't seen her this excited about a gun in ever, really. So this one, yeah.
So the difference with this one and the one you just showed is, well, one thing that is not a difference that I want to address is the barrel length. This is a 4-inch barrel, correct? Yep. I don't know if it's 4 point something, but it's right at that 4-inch mark, which is great.
It's the same length barrel as the original VP9.
Right, and that's what I love because especially as I'm a middle-aged woman at this point, I'm a grandma, I've got smaller hands, I've got weaker hands, so the solution to grip harder, to have more accuracy, does not work for me. A longer barrel helps a bunch. That extra inch of barrel helps a bunch for accuracy and shootability. Super excited about that. Also has a little bit shorter grip, which is a challenge for most people. The grip is a challenge for most people for concealment. So having that kind of shorter grip, and yet it is, obviously it's going to fit my hands, but show how you're able to
it fits
manage
me
that
as well. So really the grip piece of this is about the same as the original, the VP9 SK. So it's basically and this is a 10,000 foot view. So if you're going to engineer me, this isn't the place to do it. Feel free to
do it in the comments, but we don't really care.
But basically it's the VP9 barrel and slide with the VP9 SK grips. That's oversimplification, but that's what it is. Now I can get on there. You can see I can get my pinky on there, and when I put the mag in, that gives me just a little bit more purchase, and I can shoot this. So I could literally carry this thing. I would have no concerns with carrying this thing. The reason why I won't is because I'm big enough to carry the big one, and I get 2 more rounds. And
for those that don't know, getting that pinky on there again just makes it a much more shootable gun, a much more accurate gun, a much more comfortable gun. And also this one gives you the option to address that length of pull issue. So I can get my finger entirely on where I would struggle if I got all the way behind the gun. And not that anybody cares what my challenges were, but if you have shorter fingers and have had these challenges, if I were to get my grip behind the gun, I wasn't always able to release that safety. And that was a problem.
The trigger safety.
Yeah, the trigger safety. So I had to turn it to the side in order to get that. This I can get directly behind the gun, still get that trigger safety, and it's just an absolutely shootable gun. I think it just looks amazing. So
it's kind of a sexy looking thing.
Excited.
I'll give you that. Now, the length of pull thing works both ways, because if somebody's got huge hands or super long fingers, you can extend that out. And I've seen people in classes that get this far into the trigger guard, and then that really causes some issues when they go to start pulling the trigger at any kind of speed. So it works. This is going to work both ways. What did we put on here for your stuff?
That is going to be the small back strap. We haven't ordered the extra small yet. You have to order that from their web parts store. And then I believe we put the large on the right.
Yeah, large or medium. I think it's medium on the right and small on the left.
And a smaller one on the left. Yeah, I just needed a little bit more filling on that. And again, these are just tiny little adjustments. And for maybe many shooters, it's not going to matter. But for the above average shooter, for someone that really wants to dial in that comfort, that shootability, that accuracy level, these tiny millimeter adjustments really make a difference.
You know, that makes me think of something that Bill told me. He's like, you know, they've got some data from some law enforcement agencies that switched out from whatever their previous carry was to the VP9s, and just that adjustability, what they saw was immediately their qual scores went up. So these guns can make good shooters better. That doesn't mean that this gun is going to make you a great shooter if you don't go out and do the work. You have to go do the work. But the other thing is the reliability angle, and these things are solid. My VP9 that I've been carrying for the last several years, you know, we've tried to figure I think I'm somewhere north of 80,000 rounds through this thing. Now I've got new springs and I've changed some stuff out and I've kept, you know, I've maintained it, but this thing has never let me down in a class or at any time that I've ever been shooting this thing. I've never had a major issue. You know, I've never had a light strike. I mean, I just haven't had that. Now I feel like we use good ammo with MagTech. Hello. But yeah, but they're a quality gun. So,
and for someone like me that just doesn't care about the tools, really, I want something that's reliable and that I can basically neglect. I do not want to think about my gun again. I know a lot of people are super gun geeks. They like the mechanics. They like to change stuff out. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not me. So I need something I can put in my holster. I can neglect for thousands of rounds. I can keep it lubed up now and again, and it's going to function every time. So ask me about the specs on this. I won't know because I do not care. What I want is something reliable, comfortable, very, very shootable, and that will help me make the most of my own gifts and abilities. And however much I'm willing to put in the work, this is going to help me reach it. Whereas I felt like other guns, it didn't matter how hard I tried. There were always these extra challenges that made it really, really difficult to reach the level I wanted to. And also this is going to fit, it fits just great in my SK holster from Dark Star Gear. So if you already have the SK and want to look at that, it fits there. We haven't switched out the mags yet, nor asked anyone if the SK mags will work in the K.
Yeah, I should have tried that before I came down here.
Maybe that'll be another video, but the holster does work, and I am so excited to shoot this.
And you can put the full-size VP9 mags in there. It just sticks out just a little bit.
Yeah.
So I would assume that maybe the SK mags work.
Probably.
Yeah, that's me assuming. So anyway, well, I think this is going to be more of our first impressions video.
Yes.
We're going to make another video of us shooting this thing for the first time. Any parting thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to see how well this has like the ambidextrous paddle on it again, which I love. I know a lot of people look for those buttons. They like the buttons. They're used to the buttons. They've trained with the buttons. I just find the paddle, again, so much more shootable. This one I particularly like. I'm not sure the changes they've made to it, but I feel like I can activate it easier, better, with less conscious thought.
Yeah, I don't know what there seems to be a little bit of ergonomics that went into that thought, and that made me think. You know, and I know there's button people love buttons, and that's cool. I struggle with a button now just because I've shot this so much. But I know like Chris Bean is kind of a button guy. He's in the process. He is committed to trying this. We'll see where that goes. But a funny story that I'll end this video with was as we picked these up from the gun shop, and I'm not trying to call anybody out, but the guy doing the paperwork told us that he doesn't like the paddle because he has to take his trigger finger off of the trigger for his reload. Now take a second and think through that. He had to take his trigger finger off of the trigger to do a reload. Folks, if you're doing a reload with your finger on the trigger, you're doing it wrong. What a wildly unsafe thing to do.
Right.
But anyway, I played a game of can I shut the heck up and left that alone because I'm not changing the gun guy's opinion at a gun shop, right? However, the paddle thing, I think is paddle is life. We get to cover it a little bit easier with our holster. There's less chance of it bumping, of a bump and knocking the mag out and all that kind of stuff. So I love the paddle. I don't know at what point the button release version of this is going to be released, so we'll have to figure that out. And that'll probably be a new video.
And the CC9 is a button. If you wanted to compare the CC9 Micro 9 with the VP9A1 Compact, that one has a button. And so again, while I have a CC9 and I'm anxious to practice carrying that, especially when again, it's going to be a difficult concealment. The button will be a challenge for me to get used to. So again, that was something super excited. This also has the full ambi controls. I haven't messed with them too much with my weaker hands just because it's a new gun, but we'll do that in the shooting video and see how well I can manipulate the controls with my grandma hands.
All right, stay tuned. We'll see you next time and we'll be shooting these things.